80 Life and Business Quotes from Bill Gates. I choose a lazy person to do a hard job. Because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. If you can't make it good, at least make it look good. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. I agree with people like Richard Dawkins that mankind felt the need for creation myths. Before we really began to understand disease and the weather and things like that, we sought false explanations for them. Now science has filled in some of the realm, not all, that religion used to fill. If you give people tools, and they use their natural abilities and their curiosity, they will develop things in ways that will surprise you very much beyond what you might have expected. In terms of doing things, I take a fairly scientific approach to why things happen and how they happen. I don't know if there's a God or not. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. DNA is like a computer program, but far more advanced than any software ever created. Measuring programming progress by lines of code is like measuring aircraft building progress by weight. Computers are great because when you're working with them you get immediate results that let you know if your program works. It's feedback you don't get from many other things. Our success has really been based on partnerships from the very beginning. The vision is really about empowering workers, giving them all the information about what's going on so they can do a lot more than they've done in the past. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Well, Steve Jobs. I think it's more like we both had this rich neighbor named Xerox and I broke into his house to steal the TV set and found out that you had already stolen it. So it's an absolute lie that has killed thousands of kids. Because the mothers who heard that lie, many of them didn't have their kids take either pertussis or measles vaccine, and their children are dead today. And so the people who go and engage in those anti-vaccine efforts, you know, they kill children. It's a very sad thing, because these vaccines are important. I believe that if you show people the problems and you show them the solutions, they will be moved to act. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's heading up to about 9 billion. Now if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare and reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. Technology is just a tool. In terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them, the teacher is the most important. Power comes not from knowledge kept but from knowledge shared. Some people may call me a nerd. I claim the label with pride. If you are born poor, then it's not your mistake, but if you die poor, then it is your mistake. Powerful women are either sexually voracious rulers like Catherine the Great or Elizabeth I, or treacherous bitches like Cleopatra or Helen of Troy. Like almost everyone who uses email, I receive a ton of spam every day. Much of it offers to help me get out of debt or get rich quick. It would be funny if it weren't so exciting. If you can't make it good, at least make it look good. There's no magic line between an application and an operating system that some bureaucrat in Washington should draw. It's like saying that as of 1932, cars didn't have radios in them, so they should never have radios in them. Well, I went for a ride but I didn't find my car. In this business, by the time you realize you are in trouble, it's too late to save yourself. Unless you're running scared all the time, you're gone. The vision is about empowering workers, giving them all the information about what's going on so they can do a lot more than they've done in the past. We make the future sustainable when we invest in the poor, not when we insist on their suffering. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. Treatment without prevention is simply unsustainable. Discrimination has a lot of layers that make it tough for minorities to get a leg up. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. We've got to put a lot of money into changing behavior. Reward-worthy failure, experimentation. The most amazing philanthropists are people who are actually making a significant sacrifice. If all my bridge coach ever told me was that I was satisfactory, I would have no hope of ever getting better. How would I know who was the best? How would I know what I was doing differently? Legacy is a stupid thing. I don't want a legacy. Lectures should go from being like the family singing around the piano to high-quality concerts. Personally, I'd like to see more of our leaders take a technocratic approach to solving our biggest problems. Like my friend Warren Buffett, I feel particularly lucky to do something every day that I love to do. He calls it tap dancing to work. We have to find a way to make the aspects of capitalism that serve wealthier people serve poorer people as well. Expectations are a form of first-class truth. If people believe it, it's true. The belief that the world is getting worse, that we can't solve extreme poverty and disease, isn't just mistaken. It is harmful. When a country has the skill and self-confidence to take action against its biggest problems, it makes outsiders eager to be a part of it. Money has no utility to me beyond a certain point. I really had a lot of dreams when I was a kid, and I think a great deal of that grew out of the fact that I had a chance to read a lot. If you think your teacher is tough, wait till you get a boss. He doesn't have tenure. Be nice to nerds. Chances are you'll end up working for one. I think it's fair to say that personal computers have become the most empowering tool we've ever created. They're tools of communication, they're tools of creativity, and they can be shaped by their user. We are not even close to finishing the basic dream of what a PC can be. The first rule of any technology use in a business is that automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency. The second is that automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify an inefficient operation. I failed in some subjects in exam, but my friend passed in all. Now he is an engineer in Microsoft and I am the owner of Microsoft. On my desk I have 3 screens, synchronized to form a single desktop. I can drag items from one screen to the next. Once you have that large display area, you'll never go back, because it has a direct impact on productivity. What's amazing is, if young people understood how doing well in school makes the rest of their life so much interesting, they would be more motivated. It's so far away in time that they can't appreciate what it means for their whole life. People always fear change. People feared electricity when it was invented, didn't they? The way to be successful in the software world is to come up with breakthrough software. And so whether it's Microsoft Office or Windows, it's pushing that forward. New ideas, surprising the marketplace, so good engineering and good business are one and the same. Software is a great combination between artistry and engineering. Exposure from a young age to the realities of the world is a super big thing. Technology is just a tool. In terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them, the teacher is the most important. I believe in innovation and that the way you get innovation is you fund research and you learn the basic facts. I failed in some subjects in exam, but my friend passed in all. Now he is an engineer in Microsoft and I am the owner of Microsoft. I never took a day off in my 20s. Not one. To win big, you sometimes need to take big risks. The way to be successful in the software world is to come up with breakthrough software, and so whether it's Microsoft Office or Windows, it's pushing that forward. New ideas, surprising the marketplace, so good engineering and good business are one and the same. Eventually, all companies are replaced. We should all grow our own food and do our own waste processing, we really should. I was lucky to be involved and get to contribute to something that was important, which is empowering people with software. I read a lot of obscure books and it is nice to open a book. Philanthropy should be voluntary. By improving health, empowering women, population growth comes down. I don't think there's a boundary between digital media and print media. Every magazine is doing an online version. Well-spent aid money is saving lives for a few $1,000s per life saved. If your culture doesn't like geeks, you are in real trouble. Climate change is a terrible problem, and it absolutely needs to be solved. It deserves to be a huge priority. The intersection of law, politics, and technology is going to force a lot of good thinking. Technology is unlocking the innate compassion we have for our fellow human beings.